By the way, I'm Joshua Lee. I am the current president of the Mid-Atlantic Collective, and Carly is our wonderful secretary.
Yes. Also Maryland's newest LCPC as of this afternoon.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Thank you.
Talking about making history.
Well, in the beginning, in 1980, Ann Hale and David Swink brought together a group of about 40 people who were interested in psychodrama in the local area. Many were interns from St. Elizabeth. Some were students from Doug Warner and Joanne Thacker's training institutes, and others were just other people into psychodrama, but it was about 40 people at that original organizing meeting. So the hands are Ann Hale and David Swink.
I was going to say, I think of the bottom hand as St. Elizabeth's, because when they had the intern program, I think that really brought a lot of psychodrama into the area. And sometimes the interns would come from different places and settle in the area. And so there was a lot of generativity that I think happened with that program.
I would also like to mention that there was a training program at Spring Grove Hospital modeled on the St. Elizabeth program that trained quite a number of people in psychodrama. And then in Hagerstown, there was Doug Warner, and people came from around the country to train with Doug. Neither of those two programs were on the same scale as St. E's, but I believe they were feeders also.
And then Mac was St. Luke's really has held the space of Mac, and so my introduction to like the film or the being enwrapped by Mac came through by coming through playback with Jeffrey Yates, and then in 2001 I started studying psychodrama at St. Elizabeth's, and in 2002 I started coming to actually Mac meetings. The whole process of becoming a member of ASGPP. And ABE and then being with Max, which kept you in contact with everything else that was going on with psychodrama.
Because I remember when we bounced all over, every time we had a presenter, we had some place we went. And in some ways it was good. It made it easy it was always close to somebody. But we also settled there, and the price was right, and there was parking, and we had a nice room full of props. But I also want to say it was always such a gift for me, because every time we had a MAC meeting, for the next week, I'd go in there and I had all this really good energy. Somehow there was a little bit more creativity and spontaneity in a group of psychodramatists than there was in a group of priests, brothers, and nuns.
Well, I'd like to give a shout out to the first MAC president, who was Tom Nash from St. Elizabeth. And David Swink was the first vice president. The second president was Milton Hawkins, also from St. Elizabeth's. And I was the vice president. Renata Viverka, who isn't around here anymore, but is still a psychodramatist and lives in New Mexico, was the secretary. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mary Mackey was the treasurer. Bless her heart, she did it for many, many, many years.
Yes.
So just wanted to mention those early pioneers of MAC and how much work everyone did. I think there was really a groundswell of excitement about psychodrama and wanting to get together and network. Our early meetings were consistently at North Bethesda United Methodist Church on Old Georgetown Road. It is still there. And the reason we had it there is because the newsletter editor, Jim Simmons, attended that church. How many people remember Telly, the paper and pencil newsletter we used to get? It was typed up and sent out, right? That was Jim Simmons did that. He was our newsletter editor.
I took over that and used to abuse all my friendships by having people come over for dinner. And first you had to fold, stamp, and stick an address label on all the issues of telly, and then we eat.
Right.